Welcome to another episode of the Starter Girls Podcast with your host, Jennifer Loading.
And Brianna Drelas. And together we are the Starter Girls.
Where extraordinary decisions produce extraordinary results. These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com.
And you can also head over to startergirls.com. We have a free gift there. We want to keep in touch outside of this podcast as well. So head over to startergirls.com and pick that up today.
Absolutely. All right, time to get things started.
Perfect.
Today is a great day to be brave. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up, be amazing, be you, do you. All right, my friends, I am super excited to welcome Geneveve Sykes to the show today. Super excited to have her here. And she is so incredible. And I'm not even going to say a lot about her because I'm going to let her tell her story and talk about herself because I think she's amazing. But she is a leader in a global company. And when I say leader, an amazing leader at that. She's a motivator and leading a team and just doing amazing things. She's also the owner of a beauty bar called the Below Zone and Lash Bar. And yes, she's only had this business now for 3 months in South Florida. So multiple entrepreneur, mom of 4, homeschooling some of those kiddos. And so we are super excited to welcome you here, master motivator and mompreneur.
That's right. I
love it. So welcome to the show.
Super honored to be here. Super excited. I've been watching, listening. So here we are.
Yes, finally, right? Because we have to record these shows. And so I know she scheduled hers a while back. And so it's so fun when they finally get to get on the show. They're like, we've been waiting to get on here and do this. So
that's right.
Super excited to have you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to kick things off, Geneveve. Let's talk a little bit about you, what you got going on, and tell us about this bar, this adventure that you acquired in the last 3 months. Fill us in on what's going on with you.
Awesome. So for almost 3 years now, I am, like you said, a leader of a global company, which means that I basically do marketing and education for a wellness company, which is, for obvious reasons, in very much high demand right now. And, with that, there's a lot of leadership skills. And then, even pre-COVID, it's dealing with teams and organizations that not just are coast to coast, but even, beyond that, internationally as well. So that's what I do. I'm very passionate about it. I would say that's like 30 hours of my week. And obviously I structure that around my family. The blow dry bar situation very much fell in our laps. I'm definitely a girly girl. I like my lashes and all my bells and whistles, I guess you would say. So this was a blow dry and lash bar that I was going to for a couple years as a client. And April, so back up a little bit to that, my husband has been very much the support role. I've been part of this global company for 3 years. And prior to that, I did something kind of similar for 4 years before that. So he's been very much the support role and kind of like the behind the scenes person in those endeavors. And then very much like Mr. Mom, but we really did share that role too. But we had been looking for ways to invest and diversify. And April, I just went for a standard lash fill, and my girl told me that the place was for sale and that she might not have a job. And I was like, wait, like I cannot. I always joke around. I think the main reason we bought it was so that I didn't lose my lash girl, but we're not. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yes.
Because when you find somebody that does something well, right? And I had been recommending people there, and she's like, I'm letting you know because so many of my referrals have come from you. But we looked at the books, spoke to lawyers and our investment people, and they're like, this is something that you can do. And so we bought it, bought it outright, closed in a month, and we've been doing that for the last 3 months. So we do blowouts and lashes and makeup and updos. And it's been really cool to extend the mission of what I do in my global business, which the mission there is to enhance lives. in whatever way, like enhance the lives of those we touch by helping them reach their goals. So it's been really cool to implement that same mission in this blowout bar in so many different ways. It's been such a fun extension. And I also think I have 4 boys, so it's allowed my girliness to come out. So like anything girl, like any girl baby nursery I did not get to do all this time. I feel like I just it came out with a vengeance. So it's like pink and flowers and neon, and that's been super fun to do. And to also, we have a team there. So if that team there is not as large, and my husband is definitely doing the day-to-day like business scheduling, payroll, operations aspect of it, and I'm more of the creative side and the social media side. And but it's different, it's still people, and people are the same, so there's those components, but now it's different. Whereas the other business is more of like a mentoring type role, whereas here it's more of an employee owner role, which is a little different. So it's definitely stretched our brains and us as well. So yeah, that's what we have going on.
Awesome.
And we have 4 boys. We're a blended family. My husband and I each had 1 boy, and we got married, and we had 2 more boys. So evidently that's all we make. They are 5, 6, 12, and 13. They're actually at football practice right now. That's why like all hell has not broken loose in my house in this moment. And we do that whole thing. And then I'm homeschooling the little ones, which was kind of a decision out of necessity with the craziness going on in the world. I never saw myself as the homeschool mom ever.
Right.
It was just something like, here we go. And I can do kindergarten and first grade. I feel like I can't mess that up too much. Like I can handle that level of coursework. And it's actually been a lot of fun. I've actually really enjoyed the homeschooling and bonding over learning with the little kids. It's just what to do with them the rest of the day. So that's the tough part. So that's what we have going on.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we have going on.
Your lashes look great, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
That's what I was thinking the whole time you were talking. I'm just thinking about your beautiful lashes. I think it's so great. You're like,
I'm today.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna keep the bar, so I got my lash lady covered. It is like covered.
That was great. Well, and I'm also giggling because I'm like, she's like all excited about decorating it pink and neon. I'm like, oh my god, like that's a difference. Because I mean, I don't even like to shop, so I guess I'm really not that girly. I don't know. I like to look.
I knew we had more in common than that.
Yeah.
Neither one of us like to shop.
I know. Like, don't even. Like,
well, I actually do have that in common. I like am girly, but I'm more of an online shopper.
Me
like,
too.
I've tried
Are you an online shopper too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I try to go to the mall, and I don't like, what are we here for? I don't have a mission. I don't have like an objective. Like I'm here just to look. Like
you're like we got to have like go in the store to get what you need, get out of the store, right? Like we're all focused.
Right.
Yeah.
That whole browsing.
My sister, she calls it puttering. She goes, let's just go putter. We'll go putter around the mall.
That's
I'm like,
great.
what?
I've never heard that.
I'm not gonna putter.
If there's good snacks, like I'm down.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
Food.
Like, good snacks
there's a
wine.
Mi Casina. There's a Mexican restaurant, one of the malls here, and I'm like, okay, if we can go get a margarita at Mi Casina, then I'll go putter. Like then I'm good.
The 3 of us shopping would be really good. We're just going to the restaurant. Let's just go to the food. That's all we got to do.
Yeah.
Go to the food. We went shopping. We went to the food. We're done.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It's over.
Yep.
Well, this sounds amazing.
I was gonna say my kids think I'm so weird because they like to shop and I do not. And they're like, Mom's like in a hurry to get. I'm like, what are we doing here? Get what you need. Let's go.
I know. It's the worst. It sounds amazing, everything that you're working on, and I love how it really also says a lot about you and your husband, how quickly you guys were able to shift. You said you within a month you were owners of a beauty bar, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to pick up that. It really, really says a lot about the 2 of you being able to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was really had a lot to do. First of all, our main business has had that much success. So we bought it in cash.
Wow.
You don't close on something that fast. Like if you're not financing, because obviously that's like a whole other thing. So we bought it in cash. We actually offered more than what they were asking to get that specific location. I feel kind of like gangster when we did that because we're like, no, we'll give you this because there were some other people getting it. But it was just a lot of fun. But I think also like our whole life is that way. We got married within 6 months. We had kids back to back. Like, I don't know that we do anything slow. In fact, I feel like we should like chill out some days.
Well, it sounds like you guys are decision makers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a decision
and go. I love it.
Yeah. Well, and she was just to show the impact of this. I mean, the fact that she went in and paid cash for this, I think is so impressive. Great. It just says the level of, without saying everything, like she's amazing at what she does. And I think this kind of leads into, I guess, maybe a question I want to ask you. What do you feel like has been attributed to your success? Because clearly there has to be, like if any entrepreneurs come in, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and there are people that do very well, and there are people that get in this and they don't do very well in any business. And so what do you feel like are some key, maybe important things that you've maybe implemented in your own life that have been really instrumental in your success?
It's so, I love this question because this is something that I'm just like really mulling over as a leader. I'll be very honest. It's actually been a very tough week. Leadership can be very, very tough. You're dealing with people and I was telling somebody in leadership, like you can give people your whole heart, your left arm, your kidney, your firstborn, and there will still be some people that will question your motives or say it's not enough or it's not good enough, and so that's really tough. But what I have found is growth, and I would say intentional growth, because I think that you can have, people think like success has something to do with talent or like always winning or everybody saying yes or how knowing the right people and all of that, when in reality, whenever I intentionally grew during some of the hardest seasons of my life, that's when the biggest blessings came after. And so even this type of global business that I'm in, and the one that I did before that, I didn't start till I was 30. I just turned 37 a couple days ago. So like my 20s were real tough. Like there was nothing in my 20s that like would have ever said to anybody that I was like, honestly, I remember my 20s thinking that I completely missed the boat in life and that everybody thought I had so much potential and I just didn't live up to it. And here I was, and my life was going to be one major heartache. And I'm a believer. I would say, I'm a Christian, and I remember just asking God for so many different things, or to take me out of really tough situations, or for things not to be so hard. But I can honestly look back at all of those things, even some of like the really worst days, like sobbing, like snot, like just like ugliness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like thank God that happened in that situation. Because I think that God was really cultivating something in me that I eventually would need down the road. And so I think people really miss that growth part. I think it's just kind of like that we, what's that saying? Like, don't pray for things to be easier, pray to be stronger, something like that. And instead of like coming up to something and thinking, oh, this is an obstacle, this isn't for me, like I'm done, like I'm quitting, things are too hard. I just think I reached a point where I'm like, no, like I've quit too much. Like there's something I need to learn in this. And I think when we intentionally grow and realize that this is what God is allowing to, I guess, like fill our tool belt, right? Like that's how I think of it, for whatever we need. And so with that, I think success is very much of an inside job. Like what's on the inside is gonna come out, and who we really are as a leader. It's not like when everything is going great and when we're winning, that season came after the really hard times, and it was in the hard times. And so you either decide, okay, I just have to get through this, or you could say, all right, I'm going to grow through this, and there's a lesson here. So I would say that that's the biggest thing. Just persevering through that, a lot of grit, determination, showing up the days that you don't feel like it as much as the days that you do feel like it. Learning when to rest, And then also too with success, I've learned about myself that, and unless other people can do it or come along, or if it's not rooted in some sort of purpose, like it can't just be about money. It just can't. You know what I mean? It has to be rooted in something much deeper, much bigger, something that is not tangible. And so when that's there, even on the hard days, having that vision and still being, even the days you don't feel like it, but still being passionate about that mission, that's super important. And so, and with what I do, that's also the success of others, in my type of industry. I have to be just as committed to the people that have linked arms with me and helping them achieve their goals as well to be successful. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Lots of good things there, Genevieve. But you said something that really caught my attention, because I had a gal come on my podcast. Unfortunately, Brianna was not with me at the time, but her name is Dawn Grunegle. She is like a 4-time Olympian trial runner. I had met her because she actually coached 2 of my kids in running. Amazing runner. Like, she has run like all over the world in some elite running. But one of the questions we had asked her at the time was, what are you thinking when you're standing up at the line with all these elite, I'm getting chills thinking about, like, all these amazing runners. And if you know anything about running, these are like, I'm talking massive runners. And you know what she said? She says, I always fall back on my tool belt. I know what I've done and I prepared, and so I always fall back on my tool belt. And so when you said the tool belt thing, I was like, oh my gosh! Remember, I say every podcast I learned something, so I remember a little piece of something somebody says every time they come on the show, and that was one thing that stuck out with me. So you said a lot of really good things there, and having been, Genevieve and I met through the same industry, so that's how I know her. And Tom Bowman, who was also a guest on our show a while back, is also in the same. We all know the same people, which is amazing. He's another amazing leader in the company. A great story. But I think, when you talk about like hooking arms with people, and really our guest that we just interviewed, we were talking about the culture that he created within his organization. And he was talking about being relational versus transactional. And one of the things he said is, I don't work for money. That's not why I do it. And so when you really start putting your emphasis becomes the success of other people, then you get what you want in life. When you start taking yourself out of the equation and start focusing on how you can serve others and raise those people that are in that same space with you up. And then that's where that success, I think, really, truly comes from.
Right. So my, one of the things with growth too, so this last year I actually invested in a coach. I would say my strengths is that I'm very consistent. I'm ridiculously consistent in the things that I know that I need to do. But I knew, the same way you would hire a personal trainer. Actually, I need to pick your brain about a running coach, because one of our sons that does football could use something like that. But somebody to just really fine tune. And I really wanted to hire somebody that was going to help me just grow, I guess, through things that I still needed to grow through. And she said something to me once. She goes, "A rising tide raises all the ships." And so that's, growth, right? And people around you and that. And then another thing by Bob Proctor, and one of the courses I did with her is, we talk about like raising morale in a team. He goes, you can't raise morale. Energy trickles from the top down. And so I know, sometimes people think like, oh, to have more success, you have to do more. And I'm not saying that that's not always the case. There's times where that might apply. But I've actually found that, it's really success starts from the inside first. So you actually have to like grow more first. And then that changes everything around you too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, just hearing you speak also earlier, just about, you have that choice. You have the choice to either quit or take the challenge that's before you and learn. And like you mentioned, grow. And I think sometimes we look at the challenge in front of us, and like you mentioned, it's like, oh, okay, this is a roadblock. Like, I guess this is not for me, Mm-hmm. And so I love how you were just saying, no, this is there for a reason. And okay, what am I going to learn from? Like, how am I going to learn from this so that I can either adjust and move this way once I, learn what I'm supposed to learn? Because I mean, how many times sometimes I feel like that. I'm like, I'm all about self reflection and all the things and personal growth, all things I am. But I think I kind of feel like I've been called out this week on a few things because, you know, I'm moving so fast. And I think anybody listening to this podcast can relate. You know, we're coming out, well, it's pandemic is still pretty tough, but suddenly we're feeling these pressures to do everything. And because we've had a year of being cooped up and not feeling like we could do everything. And now we're like, we got to go see everybody. We got to go do everything. And then suddenly, well, now we're just doing a lot. Right. And it's taking away from, but like, what should I really be doing? How should I really be spending my energy and time? And then you just lose sight. You lose sight of what you're supposed to, how you're supposed to be operating in life, you know?
100%. It's good. I love it.
I think so many people, you know, you mentioned the pandemic. I mean, I think everybody's just like in a weird mental state right now too. And I think a lot of people are definitely being tested, you know. I find that even with the people that I work with, but also people that I don't work with. And I feel like we're, you know, unfortunately, we're seeing in some cases what people are really like and what's coming out and maybe their inner demons as well. And I've had a few tests this week, I would say as well, where, you know, I was talking to my coach about a certain couple situations and like, no, like this is to like test you. Like this actually illuminated yet another thing I realized about myself that I need to fix in my tool belt. So you're exactly right about that.
Yeah, that's good. I think the whole thing we're trying to say here is really just, you know, I think it gets back to how we're showing up. And that's where that self-reflection comes from, because if we're working on always trying to be better, and right, when we're doing that, we're showing up differently. We're continuing working on improving all the time. And also look, like Brianna said, looking at each situation and saying, what's the message in this? What is to be taken away from this? I mean, that's how I try to approach everything, even when it just sucks. I have to have that real conversation with myself. Okay, Jennifer, this sucks. What is the takeaway? What am I supposed to be learning right now from this? As bad as it is, sometimes it takes a little while to find it.
But you got to listen.
It's there.
You also have to slow down long enough to, if you're just go,
which we all are.
Yeah, which we are. It's like sometimes you can miss that message because you don't pause and go, like, open yourself to receive the information that is trying to be communicated to you, right? So I think that's like the key, is like just truly like opening, you know, whatever it is for you, you know, opening yourself up to receive information.
100%. Yeah. So Genevieve, because you are a rockin' mom over there and you got these 4 boys, 2 of which are homeschooling. And I know we have kind of, it's interesting because I was looking at our insights on our podcast, and it's really interesting, our audience, because it's almost 50-50 split between male and female. I think it is so interesting, the people that are listening to this show. But we got some moms in there because, you know, we're moms and we get it. We know what it's like to be entrepreneur moms and have to juggle. I mean, I go back and say, you know, I have been an entrepreneur since my oldest, she's going to be 25, since about the time she was like a year old, I think is when so I've been that mom that drug babies on appointments, had kids get their diaper stuck through doggy doors with diapers on, you know, and had the kid in the restaurant because I was meeting a client and I'm like, please do not scream in the restaurant. Okay, I've been there. I get it. So what advice would you offer for, let's say, these moms out there that are trying to do all this? They're trying to be these rock star moms and hold down these, you know, whether they're corporate or entrepreneur, they're trying to juggle the many hats that come with that. What kind of advice would you offer?
Ooh, wake up earlier. And I know that's like, that's not what everybody wants to hear. But when I've had, you know, basically almost 7 years of quote unquote being my own boss. And, you know, and in that I had 2 babies and things change. So I want to make sure I say this, like, you have to be flexible. You know what I mean? Like, if something happens with a kid, if whatever the situation is, like, you have to be flexible. But I noticed that the earlier and earlier I would wake up, the more that I could do and the more that I could get ahead of my schedule. So time management. There's a book, what is it called? I can't remember, but it's talking about like, the 5 a.m. club. And when you wake up at 5 a.m., you can change your life. And I will tell you, I'm a morning person, but I was never a 5 a.m. person. I've only become a 5 a.m. person this last year. And it was really tough at first. I was a 6 a.m. person. I would push myself to do that, but especially with homeschooling, I knew what I needed to get done in the day. Okay. There's actually this book that I recommend everybody read. I feel like it completely changed my life. It's called Essentialism. I'm looking on my shelf. It's called Essentialism by Greg. I'm going to butcher the last name, so I'm not even going to try. Greg M. Yeah. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
She's got it.
I've got it.
Okay. So
I'm gonna let this one borrow it.
Oh my gosh. My brother-in-law, he is a very successful Chick-fil-A owner operator. And I love talking about business with him. He's one of the ones that just he wins all the awards and does all the things. And he gifted it to me for Christmas. I should say he gifted it to us, but I read it. I love this image on a book. It had 2 circles, and one of them has 1 million little lines coming out of it, like arrows, and they only go, not even an inch out. And then there's another circle, and then there's 1 arrow, and it's I don't know, 10 inches longer. And the point is that, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And so really fine tuning my schedule, getting up earlier so that I'm ahead of my day. So moms, and anybody that wants to be successful, I'm gonna tell you right now, working out, there's studies, some of the most successful people work out. So that for me is, the accountability of I go to Orange Theory most mornings, so 5 a.m. And then after that, I have my personal quiet time, and I do prayer walks, and I listen to the things that I need to listen to, manifestations. And then I do the hardest things for my business first, between 7 and 8:30, 9 a.m. So basically in the first 4 hours of the day, I've gotten my mind right, my soul right, my spirit right, my body. I've done the hardest things first, and then I can very much slide into that. And then after that, that's homeschooling time. And then the rest of the day, as messages come in, I'm in a better state of mind and not thinking, oh my gosh, I still have to do this. I don't have, that anything oh my gosh, I still have to do this looming over my head. And that has been such a game changer. But another thing that book talked about is yes, there are a lot of important things we have to do or be, but not everything can be important. And what can you really take off of that list? So delegating and giving myself grace in that area. I have a personal assistant, but I will tell you, I did not have a personal assistant till just a year ago. So I would say a year, and there were different times I had brief stints, but to the capacity that I have somebody helping me, be me, I guess 20 hours a week, that just happened this last week. So I had to be very creative and have very good time management prior to that. So getting up early and really prioritizing the things that need to happen first, and do those first, and then fill in everything else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We talk about the 5 a.m. club often. And, ultimately 5A is not for everybody. And, that's something I do talk to people about, but we're early risers as well. And as a mom of young kids, I know that when I'm not up by 5, alarms going off at 4:45, when I'm not up by 5, the rest of the day is kind of I'm just like a space cadet. I'm just floating around.
Well, and I feel like I'm reacting to my day. I feel like I'm instead of me, carpe diem, instead of me seizing the day is seizing me, essentially. Somebody sent me an article once. They're well, not 5 a.m. works for everybody. And I guess there's different types of animals you can be. And I guess I'm a dolphin, which doesn't surprise me at all. But
you don't sleep ever. The dolphins are supposed to go.
Yeah, I'm a dolphin. Apparently 5 a.m. is not the best time for me, but whatever. And I'm well, try telling that to my 5-year-old. He doesn't care that I'm a dolphin. He doesn't care when is the most opportune time. If he were here right now, he'd have no issues coming in my office right now and asking me for a snack, and I would tell him I'm on a Zoom, and he'd be like, well, I'm hungry. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah.
you know, they don't care if you're sleeping or whatever. They don't
But
care.
Mom,
You're in
I
the
have a
bathroom.
question. But Mom, I have a question. But I have a question,
Right.
Mom. But it'll
Right.
take me just a minute. It's just a question.
Yeah.
I'll be a dolphin and wake up at my opportune time when they're older. But right now to do the things I have to, you know, you guys know, you have to be up at that time.
Yeah. That book, by the way, is The Power of When by the sleep doctor.
Oh.
Is
Oh,
it?
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. He talks about the 4 animals: the lion, the wolf, the bear, and the dolphin. And most people are bears. That's what societal norms are based out of. We're lions.
Yeah.
Lions are up in the morning, ready to go. By the end of the day, we're done. That's why I don't do important stuff after 7 o'clock.
I don't do anything after 3 p.m.
But that's because,
I'm like,
that's why in the morning, Genevieve, we get up in the morning, we be texting at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Like we got conversation going already. Like I know my people,
Yeah.
right? And Chris is the same way. He's back there going, me too. We know our people who we can message early. We do not wolves. No bueno. We're not doing wolves because they're up at night and they go like they sleep in. My friend Amy and I were opposite. It was so funny because
Like,
we used
my
to
husband's
joke.
a wolf.
Yeah, we used to joke. I'd text her early in the morning. She'd read the text in the middle of the day. She'd message me at midnight. I'd get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I see her text.
Yeah.
You know?
Turn off my phone.
Mhm.
Like,
Isn't that funny?
I'll get texts from people. Sorry, it's so late. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll just get it in the
Get it
morning.
in the
But
morning.
I'm not gonna. I know not
Yeah.
to text them at 6 a.m. I just wait.
Yeah.
I wait till 9 and then I start texting them.
Yeah, I used to tease my people. I'm like, just turn your phone off because that's when my brain is working. At 6 a.m., it's ready to go. By 3 o'clock, I'm like, I'm not thinking. So
Yeah.
it's good that you're aware of that. That's awesome. So you know.
Yeah, that's how you can be effective, most effective. And I love how you said you get the hardest stuff done first.
yes.
Like, doesn't it feel good too? And then you've got like that confidence, like, oh yeah, look what I did today. I got that stuff done.
I also realize I'm like much more gutsy. I tell, you know, my team, I'm like, I guess I have like bigger balls in the morning. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just,
No, you're fine.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel like I'm bolder and just more clarity. And I just, you know, I even 3 p.m. means like, oh my gosh, did 6 and 7 a.m. me do that? But then I realized, and even after, but then I realized like really good things come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I haven't been affected by the things of the day. So, 5 and 6 a.m. me is a go-getter.
Braver.
For sure.
Yeah.
So great.
Braver.
And you probably find too, I don't know about you, but me personally, like if I have to do something that's really hard and I have to wait till the end of the day, there's so much anxiety that gets piled with it. You know what I mean? And it becomes like this, like, you know what I mean? Like that's why I need people up at 5 a.m. in the morning so I can get the hard things done in the morning. I can get it done, like be done with it. I can't wait till the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have all that like anxiety about it.
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And it's going to be very, very helpful to a lot of our listeners too.
Should we do a couple fun questions real quick? Genevieve, you up to a few rapid fire questions? These are easy.
I am.
You want me to start or you?
Okay. Got to answer fast. Okay.
Yeah, just quick. You want to go first or me?
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so let's see. What's your guilty pleasure?
Ice cream.
Sharpies or gel pens?
Sharpies.
All right. Favorite travel destination?
Italy.
Ooh.
You're at a grocery store. What's in your cart?
Wine.
This is so good. All right, this is so fun. We haven't done these in a while. I'm loving this. All right, one more. First concert you've ever attended?
Oh, goodness. It was some sort of Christian rock band. I can't even remember. I went to Christian high school. I can't
Okay,
remember.
it counts. It's all good.
Oh, Jeff Moore in the Distance.
Okay, there you go. That's good. We're going to have to
And then
look
the
that
next
up.
One, yeah. Then the next one was a Jay-Z. Complete
Okay, now we know what you're talking about.
awesome.
Jay-Z, it's so awesome.
Yes.
So awesome. This has been so fun, Genevieve. If our audience wants to reach out to you and learn a little bit more about what you're doing and all this good stuff, where do we want to send them?
I would say either Instagram or Facebook would work. I'm Genevieve Marie Sykes on there. So my name on here, it's me and a husband and a lot of boys. And the profile picture. And then Instagram is just Genevieve.Sykes. Just my name.
She's got a lot of fun stuff going on. She puts a lot of content, videos, and just fun stuff about her family. It's fun watching you. what you're doing over there.
Thank you.
So
yeah, you too.
thank you. Thanks for coming on the show today and sharing with our audience. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you.
Was all mine. The honor was all mine. This was so much fun. Love those questions at the end. So thank you guys.
Yeah, awesome. All right. And so we do want to say to our audience, of course, if you enjoy our podcast, please be sure you give us a rating both on iTunes and Facebook, because we can't do this without you, and hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel.
And don't forget to head over to startergirls.com and pick up your free gift so we can keep in touch. And also, please check out foundationforchoice.org. That is one of our nonprofit partners. And right now they're looking for mentors to come on board and come alongside with them to help mentor those high school students to graduation. So if that's something that aligns with you, go to foundationforchoice.org today to learn more.
Awesome. And we got a couple final thoughts here. And this one's just funny because it's Stephen Covey again. I don't even know how I picked it. But live out your imagination, not your history. Good stuff. Love it. And then, of course, as we always say, in order to have success, you must start, and every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We will see you next time.